People come to Leeds from Edinburgh, from Manchester, from all these other places. They come to Leeds and they go, wow, Leeds is unbelievable. I've grown up since I was 16 in the kitchen, but this is what I love. Like, this is my life. And it's such like a creative process between the team. Even if one person just said, do you know what? If you tweak that to that might work.
Welcome to the Leeds Creative Folk podcast, where some of the most interesting and influential figures from the Leeds creative scene share what drives their creativity and what it means to be part of the Leeds Creative Village. My guest for this episode is Jono Hawthorne, former MasterChef The Professionals contestant and co-founder of Leeds fine dining institution Chef Jono at V&V. Were you a creative kid?
No, not really. I was a boring kid.
Were you?
Yeah, just, I don't know. I didn't really have much going for me. I was just go to school, come home, do the washing up for my mum. I don't know, just simple, just normal kid. Easy.
Can you remember like the first sort of creative thing that you did?
This question gets asked all the time. It's all beans on toast with curry powder. Yeah, there was just some curry powder.
That was it?
That was it, simple. Just
Nice.
beans on toast with curry powder.
Was it good?
It was all right. It needs work. If I ever come up with a dish like that, it'll need a little tweaking.
Are we going to see that at
My first dish. That'd be the good name for it, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
my first dish.
I'm sure you could do a slightly kind of, or would you literally just do it as that?
I couldn't serve beans on toast. I couldn't get away with that.
There must be some way you could do that.
I could probably do like a baked bean ice cream with maybe some like sourdough breadcrumb situation, some nice crunchy bits, and
It's
then
got to have the curry in there.
maybe like some curry spice.
Curry
on top.
and ice cream. I could go for it. What was the point where you got into cooking and to sort of creating things in the kitchen?
I think it started like my grandma has always said, like there'll always be people that need feeding, so that's why I kind of fell into cooking. I say this story quite a lot. Like that's just how it happened. I didn't really have any big ambition to be a chef. It just naturally just happened, and then once I got in there, kind of just loved it from the first half an hour. Just loved being in that environment.
What was it you loved about it?
It's just a busy environment. I don't know if it's ADHD or it's just a bit like I like that buzz. That I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're packed into a train, there's just so many people all there. I like that. I like busy things. I like the Leeds train station. Just always busy. There's people going in every direction. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just carnage.
Yeah, and that kind of gives you energy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feed off that energy.
Have you watched The Bear? I'm sure people ask you that all the time.
I have watched The Bear. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Because it's one of the things in that particularly in the first season, is that sort of, it's quite intense and sort of.
Yeah, but that's what I like.
That's what you like.
It's that passion, that thriving energy. There's so much energy that comes from being in those environments. Do you know what I mean? You can't find that energy in anything else.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I think it's not to the same level, but I get that when we're on a shoot, like there's a crew of us and we've got a ton of stuff to get done. You know, we're working with a bunch of people.
That's the best.
There is a load of sort of energy and something in that. And I do totally get that. I think I could only handle that for a few days and then I'd need to lie down in a dark room.
Yeah,
whereas I guess you thrive off that, and that's
because I don't know anything else. I've been brought up in that environment. Like we work 5 days, but I've worked in restaurants before where it's 6, sometimes 7 days. If you're working 5 days constantly at that pace, you don't know anything else.
And when in your kind of career do you start being able to really contribute ideas and like creative kind of combinations? Because I guess the first bit is just a bit of learning the more technical stuff and getting stuck in.
Basically, that's it. You're just learning. From day one, you don't have much say. You're just literally listening and being a sponge and just absorbing everything, what's going on, and trying to work out, all right, what does this happen in other kitchens? Is that the same recipe? You know, like how does service work? You're trying to work out the structure of everything as well. But then obviously when you go into higher management positions, that's when you start like doing your own stuff and start putting your own recipes together and just start being creative.
And once you started doing that, where did you get ideas from?
So you get ideas from, I get ideas from literally anything. I could get an idea for a dish from you and me talking right now, but not talking necessarily about food. It could be just you having a conversation with me can revoke a memory of something that can revoke back, say, like a smell. And then that dish, and then I'll come up with a dish from a smell. But that started all from a conversation between me and you on a podcast.
Have you got a memory of a particular, maybe earlier on in your career, like a particular dish that you came up with that you felt kind of really inspired to create?
There was, yeah. So there was one, I think it was my first dish that I came up with that I thought that I was really proud of. If you know, like I've come up with dishes, little tweaks, but nothing complete. It was a sweet corn custard with an avocado ice cream, and then it had like crispy milk on top of it.
Crispy milk? What is crispy milk?
Yeah, so it's not when you shake the milk and it has a foam on top
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. So we take that and then you can dehydrate that, and then that makes
right.
it crisp.
Where did you get the idea from that? Was it just experimenting? And
I think it was a corn salad that I was eating. I was in Australia at the time. I was eating that, and then I had to there was like this competition that I had to come up with. I don't even know how I came up with the idea of it all coming together and how it's all going to work. But for some reason, I was like corn, avocado, and this milk crisp.
It's not.
But
I can't figure it out in my head, but I'm sure it was amazing.
I don't know how I came up with it. That's what I mean. Sometimes dishes come to you, and you don't know how you got there.
Yeah, but sometimes you're getting sort of like ideas and getting inspired without even realizing it, aren't you? Like things, just something you've seen or smelt or eaten, or is just lodged somewhere in your subconscious, and that comes out when you're trying to come up with an idea.
Like some dishes you can really work hard at and be like, oh, wait, we really need to tweak this, and I have a plan for this, and I have a plan for that. And sometimes they're the hardest ones to get right, even though the food is actually the process is quite simple. But then some of them, you could literally just wake up now and then next morning, you're like, bang, 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 we're doing that. You make it and you're like, that's actually perfect. We don't even have to do anything to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what it is about the creative process that makes it work sometimes, but some of the dishes that you can come up with just naturally happen.
When you're coming up with ideas for dishes, is that quite a collaborative process, or is it something you kind of do mainly on your own?
It's a bit of both. It depends what my chefs come up with. It's all about that vibe that you have. Do you know what I mean? Like they could be like, oh, I went here the other day. I had a walk in the woods and I saw these mushrooms, and they might get, like I said, they might get that smell. They're like, oh, I'd love to make like a dessert out of that, or I'd love to put something on with these mushrooms that I found the other day. And if they come in with that energy and they're like, I want to do it, then that's what we're working towards, and then it just naturally happens. And it's such like a creative process between the team.
100%. And I think that applies to a lot of different kind of creative things. You know, like we're coming up with ideas for videos or whatever, and if I just sit and sort of try and come up with an idea completely on my own, I can definitely come up with some good ideas. But I almost always find that the point at which I sit down, chat to a couple of members of the team, bounce ideas off, they kind of will pick up on something I've said and, you know, feed into that. You know, it almost always becomes a much better thing.
Yeah, there's always there's always a ceiling that you hit. Like you always get to a point of like, all right, we've got to this point, and then you start looking at everyone else and going, all right, cool. What do you think? Even if one person just said, do you know what? If you tweak that to that might work. All right, let's work on that. That might actually make this 10 times better. And then you come up with this absolute ridiculous thing that's going to please so many people. To see it as well when it happens, when they've jumped on it, and then it becomes something that you never even thought about. You had this in mind, and it becomes something completely different. And that's really, people love it, and they're working, and like everyone's proud of it, and everyone looks at it and go, I never came up with that. And you're like, that never would have happened if we all didn't come together.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is it's just that's the magic of what we do.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not sure if that happens anywhere else, but that's kind of what what we're striving for, is that little bit of magic, that little bit of team magic.
I think it does, and it looks slightly different in every context, but I think, any sort of endeavor or job or whatever that requires that just coming up with an idea, often just from nothing or whatever, needs that, I think, or at least works best in that way. Like when you get something and you get other people feeding into it and you get to bounce off other people's ideas, and that's where the spark comes from, I think.
The spark, what a word. That's it. That's the spark. That's magic spark. That's what we're looking for.
Absolutely. I've got to ask you, I'm sure people ask you all the time, but I've got to ask you about Noma. What would you say you took from your experience working at Noma?
The main thing I think is organisation. It's more of an operation, if I'm honest with you. That's what it is. It's an operation. I think there's 150 staff members in there. 50 of them are about chefs that work for free. So the other 100 are 30 in the office, 20 in the production kitchen, in the development kitchen, and then the rest of the actual chefs that are working in the front of house team that are working on the floor. So you have to be able to organize and manage that situation. I think the food is probably secondary, even though it looks like it's the number one thing. It's trying to keep 150 people on track and keeping up with your vision. That's the job, isn't it? That it's not the food.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
But the main thing I took from it is how to plan and be organized, and how does the operation work.
Yeah. Just jumping back to the kind of ideas bit, and do you ever find like you get kind of stuck for ideas? You feel like you need to come up with something, and if so, what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, you can get stuck. Like I said, you can hit a ceiling. Like some days I'm like, right, cool, we need to come up with a dish tomorrow. I want to just come up with something. I want to be creative. It doesn't happen like that. You can't just, if somebody said to you, be creative, right now, you've got literally in 30 seconds, I want you to be creative. It's not going to happen, is it? But that's what it doesn't work like that. I don't know, my brain doesn't work like that. It needs time to think and process and naturally allow it to happen. Somebody said, write a menu. Yeah, I could write a menu. Absolutely. With some dishes and some food, yeah. But it won't be the best thing I can deliver, but it still will be something that's delicious.
So what do you do if you feel kind of stuck for an idea? Do you have like somewhere you go or something you do just to sort of get you thinking, get your brain ticking over?
I just go on walks, really. If I'm honest with you, I'll go for a walk around the city and just get out of the building, really. Not in a bad way, but it's just like if you're in that space, you can't think about it.
That's something
you're already in there, so
Yeah.
why you need to separate yourself out of there, get out of there, and just let it happen.
That's something we've talked about with a couple of people on, other people that I've chatted to on the podcast, is the value of just getting out of your kind of space that you're always in and just something different, different space. Often being outside, I think, makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But just seeing different things and whatever, that's going to just allow you to sort of think slightly differently and get different ideas.
I think it's because you're putting so much pressure on yourself half of the time, I think. Like half the time you're there and you're like, you're looking at a piece of paper and you've got a pen and you're trying to come up with something. I need to come up with something. I need to do that'll work with that. And it's just pressure. You're putting it on yourself. But then if you step away from that, you're not thinking about it. But if you literally physically sit down and start doing it, it's like it's too much pressure on yourself. I think that's what it is. If I physically sit down and go, right, cool, let's start writing a menu, I don't think it will come together. But if I think, right, cool, let me go outside, let me just chill out, let me just have a walk, let me see what's going on. It will spark something, and then I'll come back and I'll write that down, which I think is more productive than trying to sit down and trying to do it.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You're forcing yourself to do it when creativity doesn't work like that, I don't think.
Yeah, 100%. If you weren't doing the job that you're doing, what would you be doing?
That is the question, isn't it? That's the question that everybody asks the chefs. It will probably be something creative, obviously, because I just feel like I'm not that type of person. But this is what I love. Like, this is my life. I breathe it. Like, I breathe it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm in there every day, just cooking.
So you almost can't imagine doing anything else?
I can't imagine it. I don't have that in my in my head. It's just not. It's not there. I've grown up since I was 16 in the kitchen, so I don't know anything else.
I've seen you talk about Thai food as maybe being your favourite food.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hard to like pin down. It's like, what's your favourite film or whatever. What is it that you love about Thai food? What gets you excited about Thai food?
Thai food, it's just there's so many flavors and there's so many ingredients that you don't even know. Every time you eat something or you try a new dish, it's completely different. Again, it comes down to that creativity. Again, it's every time you go to a Thai restaurant, you can order something different and it won't be the same. There'll always be something and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, that. Oh, I don't like that. But at least you know it was a different flavor.
Can I ask, have you got a favourite Thai restaurant in Leeds?
Yeah. I've got a few.
Yeah, go on.
Thai Roy D is obviously the classic. It is. It's Thai Roy D, isn't it? Just because it couldn't be any more authentic. It's so classical. They do what they want to do.
It's a proper institution, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
it is.
people love it. I mean, I've been there a bunch of times.
It's just so authentic. They just do what they want to do, and that's their style of food. And you're just like, yeah, it's unbelievable. You can tell from like the first mouthful, maybe the second. You can tell that there's so much love in this food.
Do you feel like part of a sort of community in Leeds of, restaurateurs, chefs, foodies?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Leeds has always been like that. It's always like this little hub of like, we love food here. We do love food. Like everyone's always dropping new stuff every week and then everybody goes. Like that doesn't happen very often in other cities.
Do you feel connected to like other kind of creatives within Leeds, whether that's like music or, I don't know, like theatre or, I don't know. Or do you feel like you're sort of the food community?
No, we all work together. Do you know what I mean? If the theatre's got something on, then obviously they do collaborations with other chefs, or they do this, or they do that. Like, even with music, it's always food. Always connects, I think, with every other department.
How would you describe Leeds, like that community of Leeds?
Obviously, it's tough at the minute.
Yeah.
Like everyone keeps saying that. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, of course it is. It's tough. Yeah. But you got to just put that to the side, I think, a little bit, and just be like, it's actually like, we're creative with the food that we do. We've got unbelievable food. We've got unbelievable restaurants. It isn't like that in other cities. Like people come to Leeds from Edinburgh, from Manchester, from all these other places. They come to Leeds and they go, wow, Leeds is unbelievable for the food scene. It's all very close together. Like you've got, like, for example, Chapel Allerton. It's just they've got this little hub, this little villagey hub kind of thing of food outlets. There's like 20 restaurants out there, and then you go in the city and there's 50 over there, and they're literally 5 minutes away from each other, and you can just bob in, and then you can go Horsforth, and they've got their own little hub, and we're all still connected, but you can just jump on a train and in 10 minutes you're there, and you can go over here and you can go over there, and it's just like this. It's an awesome vibe, I say. You can just go to all these places and see different things. Everyone's always impressed when they come to Leeds and say, it's unbelievable. Like there's so much food. There's so much like creative people doing things, and there's always things happening in Leeds all the time. Not just the food scene. There's just every scene. We've got music this week. We've got theatre. We've got this happening. We've got that happening. Like there's always things happening every week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the thing of it not just all being concentrated in the city centre. There's loads of brilliant stuff in the city centre, but like you say, Chapel Allerton, we love being here, and food wise, it's bonkers. Like, we've got fishmonger, cheesemonger, greengrocer, and then we've got like, amazing little coffee shop restaurants. It's brilliant. And like you say, there are pockets of that all across Leeds, aren't there? Which is awesome.
That's what I mean. But nobody thinks, like, no one thinks about it and looks at it from the bigger picture and goes, wow, that's like really, does anywhere else have that?
Yeah.
Like if you look at other places, they don't have that, where it's like we have our own little pockets, but we're all still in Leeds and we're all doing like our own thing. It's just quite cool. It's quite unique. And that's what people say when they come over. This, like, I get it in my restaurant and say, Leeds is really like thriving. It's really like, it's really up there. you know, like with the food and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, of course it is.
I've got a sort of list of sort of fairly quick fire kind of Leedsy sort of questions to fire at you. If you had to describe Leeds in 3 words, what would they be?
Beautiful, vibey, and delicious.
Perfect. Very good.
That's good, isn't it?
That's so good. Yeah.
That is good.
That's the sort of question that I'd have a nightmare with.
You were not expecting that.
No, that was great. If Leeds was a flavour of ice cream, what would it be?
Sea salt.
Oh, where did that come from? That's great. Yeah. What's your favourite hidden gem in Leeds?
Noodle House is the best restaurant. It's just like what they're doing is like it's their family food. Like everything's cooked with love. There's no glitz or glamour about it. It's just like it has chairs from like IKEA and they're all mix and match. You know what I mean? Some of them might even be a bit broken. It ain't gonna be like the Ivy of all the glitz and glamour. But the food is just unbelievable. Like it stands out so much more because of you can see how hard they're working. You can see how hard the team are working and just the depth of flavour in all the stuff that they do. And it's just Noodle House is the one, man.
That's a great answer. Perfect. Thanks so much for doing that.
You're welcome.
That was great. I really, really enjoyed that.